You get to question everyone else, but no one ever questions you. So it's gone from silence and meditation to rave, and I was like, what's going on? I've only walked down a corridor, man. And that's what I mean. I didn't know what to expect.
Go and taste some of the cacaos. They do not taste chocolatey. Some of them taste like to go and sort of connect with the land, connect with the culture. Because I never in a million years thought that I would be like using Venezuelan cacao for Full Power Cacao.
All my friends said to me, they were like, so there's 3 of you going to Venezuela, filming, no security, no nothing, and you don't even know the people. And I was like, I mean, when you put it like that, yeah, it's a bit mad, to be fair.
There was one little thing where it kind of, I felt the energy of it, and I was like, oh, this is like, when I had that little moment where it was like, oh, this is affecting me, and it was kind of like, P was a bit, was struggling with it a little bit, and... Nick Georgiou, Sexy Nick, who's our cameraman. He's not got a face for the radio. He should be in front of the camera because he's a sexy bastard. He's Greek, and he constantly is eating kebabs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Full kebabs. That's all he eats. I've never seen him eat anything other than a kebab, but I think that's probably normal for Greek people. So that won't be a shock for many of them that are listening. We do have a 95% Greek listenership. I don't know why we're so big in Greece, but it's probably something to do with Nick. They all support each other. So yeah, Nick's going to be asking the question.
I mean, it's a great diet, isn't it? Kebabs all day, every day. Yeah, no, good intro, I guess.
Thanks.
No, it's weird being on this side, to be honest with you. I now feel what everyone else feels sitting in front of a camera. But yeah, I think it'd just be nice for us to talk to you about this past year, to be honest with you. You get to question everyone else, but no one ever questions you. So I thought it'd be nice for our listeners, your listeners, Full Power Podcast and Cacao, to hear what your past year has been like. And
Crazy.
I know. And I think the best way we could do is probably start off with Venezuela. Because obviously we met, 2 weeks before through Steven, and then 2 weeks later we were in Venezuela, experiencing everything. So for me it was the first time, but for you it was your first time as well in Venezuela. So how did you feel coming up to that?
Do you know what? I was so tired. I was like absolutely worn out when we went to Venezuela, but I was really excited, and it was like it's necessary to do it. I think like in an ideal, you never have an ideal world, but in an ideal world, you go there, you're fresh, you've like not been super busy, but we'd been so busy like from February, March, like it'd just been crazy. But it was like this imperative like calling to go to Venezuela. Like I wanted to go earlier, like at the start of the year, like late 2023, but it just wasn't a possibility. And actually now looking back at it, it was so important that we went at that time and made those connections, because if we hadn't have done that, like we wouldn't have a business now. The business has be gone, and people are probably like, what does he mean? It's like, well, actually the price of cacao went up so high that if I would have gone through a middleman, I would have had to sell the cacao so like at such a high price that it would have been really difficult to make it affordable for the people that can afford it, So it was just really, really the perfect time for us to go, and I was just excited to meet the people that we'd been communicating with, that we'd been organising the trip with, that we'd never met them. We'd never really communicated with them other than to arrange this trip. We'd always gone through a third party to source this cacao. So obviously, for me, I had never been to Venezuela up until that point. So it was kind of like, it was imperative for the business, imperative for me to sort of make some connections there, to meet farmers, to go and see the process, to go and sort of connect with the land, connect with the culture. Because I never in a million years thought that I would be like using Venezuelan cacao for Full Power Cacao when we first started the thing, but first started the business. Well, we first started thinking about the business, because obviously when you're starting a cacao brand, the most imperative thing is to have the cacao. So we were looking at different cacaos from all over the world. Well, from Central South America. We weren't looking at any other regions. It had to be Central South America. It's indigenous to them lands that grow the highest grade level of Criollo cacao. So it was importing from Guatemala, from Honduras, from Costa Rica, from Dominican Republic, from Ecuador, from Peru, from Belize, from Mexico, and then we ended up, and then I think like Colombia and Brazil maybe, and another few countries like Central South America, getting all this cacao coming in. And then I don't know why this Venezuelan cacao came on some search that I was doing. I was like, order some of that as well. And then it was just like testing them, trying them. And then the Venezuelan one was just like another level that I hadn't experienced before. And then obviously you're just kind of like questioning yourself, because my heart was set on the Guatemalan cacao, because that's my lineage. That's when I first found out about cacao. When I first met Keith, the cacao shaman, was in Guatemala. So it was like, I want it to be Guatemalan cacao. It's got to be Guatemalan cacao. It's got to be ceremonial grade cacao. How do I make these connections in Guatemala? But it was like, also, there was something in my head that was like, don't rule out other possibilities from this like perfect story, when there might be something better waiting for you. And then as soon as we like connected with that Venezuelan cacao, and all the people that like are in my community and in my life started trying it, compared to the cacaos that we had been using, which were other brands from, I think they were mainly from Peru actually, and Guatemala. And we were just like, oh, this is like so different, like so beautiful, such a beautiful energy, and such an amazing taste. Like the taste was the biggest thing. It was like, wow, this like tastes better than anything that I've ever tasted before. And then you kind of go, well, can it taste that good? Because it had never really been a thing for it to taste good, other than I'd sort of gone, I'm going to make it taste good in my ceremonies. Like, so the other cacaos that I was using, I was like, I've got to make them taste good. So when people drink it, it's like they get into cacao. They're like, oh, rather than if you make something in a ceremony, it doesn't taste great. People are then not going to leave that ceremony and think, right, I'm going to go and find some cacao now. I'm going to make it at home. They're just like, that was a good ceremony, but I ain't drinking that shit every day. And that's what everybody. So we had this, when we first started the business, it was a big thing to just change people's perspective. The amount of people that we'd gone up to, even in the spiritual community, hippie community, where kind of like cacao was prevalent, in the yogic community, people were like, no, I don't like it, I've had it. I'm like, you've not tried mine? And they're like, no, I've had it, I don't like it, it's not for me. And I'm like, please just try my cacao. Like, I assure you, you won't have ever tasted anything like this. And they're like gagging to hate it. They taste a little bit and they go, oh no, that's not the cacao. I've never had that. What's that? I'm like, that's cacao. I've just made it correctly. Do you know what I mean? I've made it so it's palatable, so you can drink it and you're still getting all the benefits. So yeah, it was just then testing this cacao in the ceremonies, knowing that it worked well, knowing that we were getting a high vibration, energetically getting the healers, getting my friends to come in and go, which one, just energy off it, without tasting it, without touching it, which one are you guided to? Venezuela. And I'd been calling this my cacao for probably 3 months, until I was like, why am I calling it my cacao? I hadn't made a decision. It was between that and 2 Guatemalans, and then it was like, bump, this Venezuelan cacao. And we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know anything about any of the cacaos other than the region and the fact that it was ceremonial grade cacao, that it was a high level of Criollo cacao within it, because we didn't want to be swayed by, it's organic, it's fair trade, gets treated like this, because you don't know if any of that's true anyway. We just wanted to go off, what is it like energetically, and how does it work in ceremony? What does it taste like? What's the vibration of it? How does it feel? How do we feel connected to it? And then obviously when we chose it, you start to uncover all the secrets and all the magic of actually, oh my God, like, we were right, you know what I mean? Because you kind of always going, is it this, is it that? And it's like everything that come out. And then obviously then from visiting Venezuela, it was just like, people were like, this cacao is a blessing from the gods. This Sur del Lago region is known globally as the place to grow the best cacao. And it's just like everybody said when we were there, it was like, it's just a blessing from the gods. It's just a blessing from the gods. And I asked someone else and I'm like, you can't say it's just a blessing from the gods. So everyone was saying it, and they grow cacao all over Venezuela. But Sur del Lago, they went, there's just something in the land, and it's the fact you've got Lake Maracaibo, and then you've got the Caribbean Sea, so the salt water of the Caribbean Sea coming into Lake Maracaibo, the fresh water that's coming off the mountains. So you've got this mix of fresh and salt water, which creates the highest vibration of water, and then that's lifting up with the heat, forming clouds, dumping every day on it. You've then got the nutritional, just like natural, whatever is in that soil. So if you went and, like the growers were saying to us, if they have a nursery and they've got these Criollo plants, they went, but if we send them to another place, it totally tastes different. It's all to do with the rainfall, the amount of sunshine, but most importantly, the earth and what's within the earth. And that's something special in Ciudad del Lago, which creates this chocolate. People like it creates a chocolatey taste. Go and taste some of the cacaos. They do not taste chocolatey. Some of them taste like floral perfume. Like some of them taste like they've been in a beer barrel, like they've been matured, or they're kind of like woody taste. But this has kind of got like a little bit of floral nuances, but it's got that hazelnut chocolatey taste, and like super powerful within that, even just when you have the bean. Like when we were trying the beans over there, it was just like, it was always that one. It's like, that one's the best. That one's the best. Like we could always tell, they'd go, right, try these. And no, that's the Ciudad del Lago one. That's our one. If you want to start your cacao journey today, head over to www.fullpowercacao.com, and to get 11% off your first order, use the code FULLPOWER2012 at checkout and start to feel that full power vibration today. Now, back to the podcast. Enjoy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was baffled when we went to the bank, and at first we didn't know it was the bank of like, but you couldn't have any of that cacao. Yeah. And it was just there to preserve it, to grow it, because that was where it was. That's where it was found, and they don't want anyone to take that away from it. Yeah. So like when we went in and we're going around all these trees, and they're redoing the area and replanting and making it bigger and expanding, so like they can preserve it for a long period of time. And it was nuts seeing, like, because I didn't know going into it how many different types there was, and then seeing them on the trees, and you see the different colours of the pods and what they actually look like. And then one thing, I guess, what stood out to us, and it kind of made us laugh in a way, is what it is when it's first, when it comes out of the pod at first, and how like this chocolatey taste that we all taste, and like the colour of the brown
doesn't exist.
No, it's completely different, isn't it? As soon as you crack that pod open and you see it, and it's white, it's got the pulp on the side, and then you put it in your mouth, and we said it tastes like a Starburst sweet. It was so fruity.
They all taste a little bit different as well, don't they? Like super fruity.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like you can't chew on them, you just suck them, and like it was a baffling taste to get from that to then obviously what we know it as chocolate, as cacao. It's an incredible like journey, like, and to say someone's gone on and found out this whole process of doing it, and how natural quite a lot of it was. I thought where it's driven for 5 hours to another area to then dry out to then. It's a incredible process that it goes through to get there, and it was an enlightening journey. That's for sure. But for me, as coming into it as a new person, I didn't take it in as much as you. But you got quite emotional at points, didn't you, when we were going round?
Yeah, I got emotional, like just because we didn't know much, and it was just like a reinforcement. I'm getting emotional now thinking about it, but it was just like a reinforcement of like, fuck, man, like. We kind of like just energetically we know what we're doing. Like the people that work with me, Paulina especially, like just like, this is the cacao, just trust it. And we had to trust, and not many people trusted would want to know this and that and that, and even without going there, but you still don't know, because people can tell you that shit. Like I always say, like, what fair trade, organic, it's like, yeah, they go there for like a week and test everything, but who knows what the fuck's going on when you're not there? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I always say, it's like Ofsted. It's like when Ofsted comes into a school, like the school changes. The school never operates like that, has never operated like that. But for this week or 2 weeks that Ofsted is, this school becomes like perfect. Like everyone's panicking, like, but they're just like proper rigid, proper perfect. Everything has to be in its place. Ofsted going, it's like, fucking chill out, man. Like, yeah, swear if you want kids, do what the fuck you want. But do you know what I mean? It's like, that's not a true reflection, because it's under scrutiny. So you don't know. Anybody who says my cacao is organic, my cacao is this, my cacao is that, yeah, you do, and you hope it is, but you don't know what's going. You're not there every moment. So we just had to go, what's the energy? What's the vibration? What are we feeling off this cacao? And then obviously we've gone there. We've met all the beautiful people, the farmers, what was his name? The guy that was like the scientist guy that was taking us around everywhere.
He messaged me saying Happy New Year over there.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, we still chat. I mean, it's hard because
Carlos, not Carlos, was it?
Luis.
Yeah. So we met Luis, and Luis was like this scientist, and he was so like he was like the cacao, the geekiest cacao guy I've ever met, knows everything, all the fermentation process, tests everything at every different moment. People don't realize the amount of science that goes into producing it in that way, and making sure that it's like consistent, like the testing everything, the drying process, the weather, the moisture, everything, opening the beans up, bang. Oh, this is like this is either needs a little bit more, or we need to take that off straight away, because if it goes any further, it's gonna go, it's gonna go too fermented, too bitter, whatever it, I don't understand it all. Like I've always said to everybody, I've only learned what I've learned because I started this business, and I was like, I probably need to know a few things. My main thing is, it makes you feel better. It's good for you. It's really good for your mental health. It opens your heart. It allows you to be on your spiritual journey and realize your life purpose. Like, and people are like, yeah, but what about the science? I'm like, I don't give a fuck about science. Like, that's not my thing. However, there is people that do. It's like, it's not a bad thing that I'm just like, this works. I don't need to see scientific data. I've got thousands of people who've told me over the last 12 years that cacao's been a pivotal way in their transformation, in their ascension, in their finding their purpose. And I'm like, that'll do for me.
Yeah. Do you know everyone knows their own realm, doesn't they? That's one thing that stood out to me. Like, obviously, we all love this craft. Like, when I talk about cameras or anything of that nature,
He sleeps with a camera.
You're into it. Vice versa, when you get into anything like, with the whole cacao, the ceremonies with people, like that is your realm.
The ceremonies and the people,
And then when we met Luis, and he was, like we say, he nerded out over the cacao and the whole process, and he's showing you all these tubs and coming out of like every stage of the process, and like
it's like fucking bored, man.
It's stuff that we don't
but
really.
I was like, bless him, like, I mean, you had to like, it wasn't my thing.
But that's the people that you want on board who know. Like, they love their craft.
Yeah,
like,
it's the place in the orchestra. Like, that's his place in the orchestra.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible if I was like in charge of that bit.
100%.
You know what I mean?
If you come out and he'd be like, he didn't show you anything and he didn't care, you'd be like,
I've just been in a lab with a lab coat on, looking at these samples all day. Like I was like, please help me. I need to change career.
And half the time, because we don't speak Spanish as well, we were speaking Spanish, we were just waiting for the translation to come across. We were just like,
smile and nod.
Smile and nod.
No, but the emotion, like that, like you were saying in the question, like when we got to the airport. And like Fernando, he was like talking about the Sol del Lago, and they actually got some of the Sol del Lago cacao out, and I tasted it, and I was just like, boom, and I was like, that was the first moment where I was like, felt connected to the land, and I was crying my eyes out in the airport, and I was just like, oh man, like, there's something like the spirit of cacao is like, this is it. This was it. Everything felt like it was supposed to be, and tasting that cacao, connecting with it in the airport, and knowing that I'm now flying to Sol del Lago for the first time, and it's very interesting because like I've had a couple of readings recently, and like within these readings they went, you used to like run in a past life, you used to run these big cacao things, and this whole community is making cacao. Like maybe it was in Sol del Lago, I don't know. I'm guessing it's probably in Venezuela, but that emotion, there's some of a deeper connection there that I don't quite understand yet. But it was when someone says that, and it's like you used to run these communities and take care of like loads of people, but it was like a vast space of growing cacao, and you've always been this grower. So that's when people go, about the cultural reappropriation, about, you shouldn't be doing this. It's like, past lives, man, especially spiritual people. It's like, you believe in past lives, so how can you believe in like cultural reappropriation? We are all everything, we have all been everything. And actually when you go there, the local people, the indigenous people are buzzing that you take, you're buying their product, but you're also taking aspects of their culture back to another country to improve people's lives. So if that's cultural appropriation, I'm all over cultural appropriation. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and wherever you go to Mexico, and you're wearing a funny hat or whatever, they're like, they love it. But it's white people like trying to herd and control white people about the whole cultural appropriation thing. In my ceremonies, people from Venezuela have come to it, and they love it. They love what I'm doing. People from all different races, different sexes, everything. They come to the ceremony and they love it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just triggering for white people because they've been programmed into this thing of like, I'm white, I'm bad. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I couldn't give a fuck, man. It's like, I'm just Liam, and I've been everything. I am everything. And whatever your colour is, come and sit with us on the couch, and we'll have a good time and we'll vibe. Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of people as well, like you say, like quick to point out the negative points of and aspects of things. But what I've learned from you over the past year is, no matter what people say negative wise, you don't entertain it with negativity. You come back with positive vibes and positive vibration, because at the end of the day, you don't want to entertain it, but you also don't want to put out a bad energy either. Like you're just surrounded by positivity. So If you can counteract that energy, quite a lot of people, like you've seen online, they'll slowly turn and learn, and they might not come into the community all in all, but that negativity hopefully comes to a stop. But that's what I've noticed over the year, and it's nice to see that, because a lot of people, they say about hate and about and it gets to them and it affects them, but I've not really seen that over the past year with yourself. And
there was one little thing where it kind of, I felt the energy of it, and I was like, oh, this is like quite intrusive, because it was just, obviously it was just online, but it was like, it was affecting me a little bit, but and so then I just was like, I was in the spa and I was just like, oh, this feels, it's on me. Do you know what I mean? There was so many people. I was like, what the? And these were all like I was expecting to get rinsed by Joe Public. Do you know what I mean? Like 3D, sits on the same sofa, like read The Sun. Like, this guy's a fucking Charlton, this guy's a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? But it was the spiritual community, and I was like, that's really, really interesting and shocking, because actually, just let people do what they want. And in that, maybe it was jealousy, but in that moment, we did more for cacao than has ever been done for it before on the planet. Like, the awareness of cacao hitting 6 million people in 15 minutes, like, changing the vibration, changing the frequency, changing the awareness and the consciousness of so many people, was triggering for people. It's like, oh, that should have been me. It's like, well, if it should have been you, you would have been there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't you, it was me. I did it, and Lady Cacao wouldn't have allowed it to happen if it wasn't supposed to be me. And I feel like I've got the personality, and I've got the balls, and I've got I can take the shit from people. Like, throw it at me, I'm Shiva, I'll just transmute it, spit it out. But when I had that little moment where it was like, oh, this is affecting me, and it was kind of like, P was a bit, like, was struggling with it a little bit and she was like, oh, I'm going to say something. I'm like, just leave them, man. Then people have made their mind up. There's nothing you can say. And actually, you'll just engage with some negativity. Just leave it. So I then did a video, and it was like, just saying, this isn't cool. I feel like I'm going to get attacked by haters. I never mentioned anyone's name. I never mentioned another brand's name. Stay in my integrity. I'm a teacher. People look up to me. If I start like battling or having a beef battle with another brand, it's like, I'm just lost all my customers, and I've lost everything that I've taught people for the last 15 years. So I did the video, and then people are ringing me saying, oh, are you okay? I'm like, it's gone. I've cleared it. And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I cleared it. That video's done it. And they're like, all right, that's cool. And then, so I was getting all this, and I got, the thing was, like, another cacao brand, he messaged me, and he was like, he went, that backfired, didn't it? I was like, what do you mean? He went, well, that video that person did, he went, it was like a load of beef and people jumping on the bandwagon. There was comments, he went, your video just like, I think it got over 125,000 views, thousands of comments, all people just supportive, positive, buzzing about what we did, like, don't, ignore the haters. And it was just like, it just cleared it, man. And it was like, it was a really beautiful moment. And then it actually just bringing the community together and bringing people together just to be like, and the comments of people that we changed their lives, and it's like, fuck, man, don't give a fuck about what other people are thinking. And so it was like, bang, if you've got something and you need to clear it, just clear it. Don't hold on to the energy of it. Go and speak about it, or speak to somebody about it. Just do whatever that feels the calling to clear it. Because other people in that situation, that would have been going on for months and months and months and months and months. And it was like, bang, cleared.
You would have been eating them alive. And like you say, practice what you preach. Like, from a marketing point, I guess, and from, doing videos and stuff here, because that was one of the first ones that you put out when I started working with you. And that was all them, I think there was 2 videos, over 100K each, and they were all organic. And it was just, it was nice to see, like, all the people coming together, and like you say, people were checking in on you. Obviously, they don't understand that was you getting it off your chest and speaking it out to the world, and you obviously feel 10 times lighter, and that's like your crossover point. And I guess, obviously, from a spiritual background for yourself, like, letting stuff go, and from my point of view of like mental health background, is getting it off your chest and speaking it. And a lot of people do hold that tight, and when people come, I guess we can move on to ceremonies a bit. For you and the people that come, it's coming to the ceremony to express, to let go, to get everything off there. So when someone comes to your ceremony, what are they not expected, but what would you like them to achieve out of coming?
A benevolation. Remove the fear of death.
Okay.
That's all I want people to, the main thing I want people to achieve is that benevolation. So to not be scared of dying, because then you can It's like to just do some work on dying, man, because you're gonna die, and it's like, you know, embrace it, figure it out, like be okay with it, because if you're not okay with it, it's just stupid. That's like not being okay with it raining. You're in control of it, do you know what I mean? So it's like to just, because then people can really start living once they've like removed the fear of death. Then they can like be alive. Until you've removed that, you're not alive. You're not living fully, like without the stabilizers on. Do you know what I mean?
You think people like walking on eggshells, and until like they come to that realization, like,
well, like you said, it's like not talking about the thing that they should talk about, or getting something off your chest. It's like, oh, don't talk about that. Oh, that's morbid. And it's like, that's the world that we've been brought up in. But it's like, but we talk about birth quite easily, and it's just the same thing. The same energy happens when somebody dies in a room, and the same energy happens when someone is born in a room. Like the DMT, the energy that's released in those moments is pretty much the same thing. So it's like you're just going back to wherever you were. So for me, like my mindset is like, you should probably be more upset when somebody's born, because it's like you've missed them and you've not had them there before. It's like, where have they been? Where's that soul been? That soul's always been part of your like monad, your soul family. So it's like, you know, when we get to this, like, if you really want to get into the energy of the truth of like the universe, it's like we actually should be upset when the baby's arriving. Yeah. And you've got to have sleepless nights for like 6 months. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be like this difficult thing. Whereas when somebody dies, it's like they've got the freedom from this body or whatever that's maybe not been working. Maybe, you know, obviously some people die young, some people die in accidents and stuff like that. But still, to just realise that that's that soul's path. Yeah. So it's like everything's exactly as it should be. It's like, oh, they died too. People go to say to my mum, oh, she died too young. It's like, she was 50, 53, 54. I was like, you can kind of say that if you're 6, but loads of people die at 6. Yeah. All over the world, there's people dying at every age. And it's like, so there's not an age to die, really, is it? So it's, but you definitely, like, when someone dies, they were 89, it's like, fucking hell, I bet, 99.99 people who die at 89 are glad to get out of that body. Unless they've really looked after the body. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't want to live in a body that's fucked and I can't wipe my own ass and I can't function. My brain's not working. Do you know what I mean? Your soul's just inside. Your soul's fucking amazing. Like, your soul can do everything, but you're trapped inside. And it's like, this is shit, man. Get me out of it. It's like trying to keep a car running that's like, you know, every meter, every centimetre that you drive it, it's like needs another repair, or it needs like a kickstart or a jump start or someone to push it. It's like, nah, get rid of the car, man. It's like, get rid of the body. If you are interested in holding your own cacao ceremonies for your community, then come and train with us at Full Power Cacao Facilitator Training. We've got 2 dates coming up in 2025. Just head over to the website, check out the details, and book on if it is calling you. Now, back to the podcast.
I guess the hard thing for people to do is to let go of, it's not what the norm is, but it's what they're taught, I guess, growing up.
It's all programming.
Yeah, and I think a lot, like even myself coming into it, like a lot of it's, it's not what you know. Mm-hmm. And I think in anything, in any aspects, like there's many metaphors we can give, is going against the crowd, isn't it? It's not being, not following it. And for some people, a change is quite difficult. So I guess I think that's why within the ceremony we use the different practices. It's not like we're going to tell you this and you need to do it. It's like, right, let's practices. I use a lot of comedy, a lot of fun stories. It's like getting people in this relaxed thing. It's like you can kind of come to the ceremony and you can be sort of totally not in that scene, and sort of it's not that hard to sort of be like, I guess ask you the question, like, obviously met you 2 weeks before Venezuela. You came to the cacao ceremony before we went to Venezuela, and that's the first exposure you've ever had to anything like that. So what was it like for you? Well, obviously filming these things is a bit difficult to tap in as much as someone who's just sat there watching. But I guess for me, I didn't know what to expect coming into it. And when I came and I seen so many people like coming in and everyone's so excited to come in, like I didn't know what type of occasion it was, like how big it was, to be fair. And that was my own fault for like not looking down upon it, but like not realizing how vast it was. And when I get there and everyone coming in so excited, so happy, and then seeing them take part in the ceremony, and so many different ages and people and demographics that were in there together. And I guess, I mean, one of the funny things was I'm filming at the top at one point, and then I come on stage, and then next minute everyone's raving. It's gone from silence and meditation to rave, and I was like, what's going on? I've only walked down a corridor, man. Like, and that's what I mean. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the layout, and like, you know, I probably should have asked for a plan beforehand to see when the timings of everything were, but
I don't know.
just as it happens. But as it finished and everyone were coming out and leaving, for me it was more everyone's face, how everyone was happy and joyful, and as much as like during like some of the meditation, people were getting really upset and really expressive. When everyone left, everyone were happy, everyone was smiling, everyone like wanted to come thank you and give you gratitude, and not just you, but Paulina, the team, everybody, and that for me was more powerful than anything I filmed before. So that was the moment I was like, yeah, this, I think for me this works. Hopefully for you, obviously it works, and it has worked out, and we've come, you know, all this way, and there's been 2 more ceremonies since that we've filmed, and it's every single time it's the exact same. And so many people do come in as well nervous because they don't know what to expect. Like you say the program this way, or you know, this is what they know, I guess. And when they leave, they're like, oh, this is just so refreshing, so enlightening. So and obviously during your facilitator training, that's the first time I took part in it. So I'd shot 2 previously, and then, you know, we did the facilitating training in Wales, and there was, 12 facilitators, and it was just me, you, Paulina, and the woman who was from near where you live taking part in it. So it was like just 4 of us. So it was really small knit, and, you know, obviously so many facilitators, so many different things.
You took part in.
Yeah, and it, obviously that's where I experienced it properly. I didn't have to film it or anything, and then it gave me a different outlook for the 3rd one that we film, because then I know what everyone else is experiencing. It's nice coming from the point of view before, because it's the less biased point of view. I don't know what's they're actually going through, but then coming to the next one, I'm like, this is what everyone's experiencing. Like, it makes a whole lot of sense now. And like I say, I've enjoyed doing it as before, knowing what was happening, because we were filming the documentary, weren't we? And I kind of wanted like an unbiased point of view. I didn't really want to be on one level or the other, so I can make it as normal as possible. And then now it all makes sense, really. But I guess
it's mad though that, like, obviously that was like 2 weeks before we went to Venezuela. I was like, I need a videographer, and I'm trying to find a videographer, Steven Bartlett. So it's like Dragger's Den has led us to us communicating, because it's through Steven Bartlett's team, and you used to work for them. Well, you still work for them a bit now, and because people were just like, but you're going to go to Venezuela. Like, a lot of people would be worried, how are we going to get on? Is it this? Is it that? I'm like, I fucking worry about shit like that. If we don't get on, we don't get on. But let's just get the work done. And we do, we do get on. But you was like super easy to be around. Like, obviously, Maya, my best friend who was there, she's absolutely nuts. You probably think I'm nuts. We're all nuts in our own way. But it was just super easy. It was pretty chilled.
100%. Like, all my friends said to me, they were like, when I told them about obviously what we were doing, they were like, so there's 3 of you going to Venezuela filming, no security, no nothing, and you don't even know the people. And I was like, I mean, when you put it like that, it's a bit mad, to be fair, but like, you got to take these opportunities, like, and
everyone told me not to go. You can't go. It's like, why not? It was like, it's too. It's like, we didn't see anything, did we?
Nothing, not one thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had Fernando to take us round and this, that, and the other. And the one day we did drive through Caracas, I did think, I'm so glad we haven't really spent much of a time here, because that was fucking insane. But
I don't like Leicester Square. I would want to walk around Leicester Square, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's true, man. Every area has its own thing. But I felt unusually safe over there with the people we're with. And I think that's because the people were so welcoming and homely and nice. And, you know,
just people, man. Like, when you went up in the mountains, that woman, how beautiful she was, and like looking after us and feeding us, and it was like,
when we went to see the farmers, and she's like, we haven't got much, but like, we've got, and they're coming out and giving you coffee and bread rolls and this, that, and the other. That was another thing, to be fair. The bread rolls, when we met the farmers, they don't really drink it because it's such a commodity. They'd rather sell it than have it themselves, so they drink the coffee. So when you made the cacao for them and give it to them, she brought a bread roll out because she didn't know what to do with it, and I thought that was quite hilarious. But even that, like, because it's such a, it's not like, it's gold in a sense, isn't it? It's a what would you call it, a monetary sort of value of thing. But because they'd rather sell it than drink it,
And they don't understand it. It's like the same with the coffee industry as well. Like a lot of places I've been that grow like some of the best coffee in the world. You'll get the local people. They've got a jar of Nescafe. They just bang instant. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like, and you're like, you growing the best coffee in the world right there. Like, and you just no instant pump, not interested. So like a big thing with the companies that we were visiting over there with the would you call them suppliers, distributors?
Yeah.
They were like super excited about us going over there, educating people, doing little ceremonies, doing more things in Venezuela. Obviously, Sivan and the companies that we're working with, there's a big drive towards this kind of corporate social responsibility, fair wages for the farmers, but also education for the farmers, getting the farmers the right tools, educating them about cacao. And then I think they want us to come in and like educate them about like the benefits, the spiritual value, the connection of it, the connection to that land and how important that land is, because they're kind of like these custodians of that land now. So yeah, it's pretty powerful and pretty important.
100%. And like, I guess we could speak a little bit about it, but when we went to see Sivan and met the owner, and he was speaking around it, and he was talking about he sees this as his big thing because his brother had another partner who was a big thing in another company, and he wants to be part of your journey and to grow with you, and he's understood you, and like even in that business meeting you could say how excited like he was to speak and meet with you. And he said his brother's partner was Mr. Beast, and they had their chocolate and their empire growing, and he was like,
I had no idea who Mr. Beast was then when he said that. Like this 60, what was he, about 65, 68-year-old man telling us about Mr. Beast. I'm like,
and then he was like, you're going to be like our sort of like venture. But
so he's in a competition with his brother, which is good.
Competition's always good, isn't it?
Especially when it's healthy competition. Like it's like positive peer pressure. I like positive peer pressure.
Exactly. They just wanted to push each other to reach their full potential as well, which is interesting. But seeing their facilities and experiencing what they do is how much love they put into like the production line and the quality of the product and where it comes from. And the big thing, I guess, coming on that side of things from the farmer's point of view was that they wanted to introduce the farmers to the people, didn't they? They wanted to have like information on them, like
I think the long-term thing is to have like a QR code that you can, this is this region and this is how many farmers, and you can just see all the different, because it's 2,500 farmers. I'm like, you can't have a QR code for each farmer, do you know what I mean? You can have a QR code that then leads to maybe like I don't know, all the pictures probably, but that's pretty cool.
I mean, with technology nowadays, like the possibilities are endless, but going around and hearing like that they want to do that for their farmers, obviously they don't just see it as like getting it for the cheapest price. And again, I guess onto the price, the farmers are actually in control, like, because they have a lot of people have bidding wars, don't they, against the farmers,
and they all have iPhones now, because cacao's a commodity, so they know what the stock market price is, which is not always great, because people are like, the farmers getting paid well, It's like, actually at the moment, amazingly better than they've ever been paid ever in the history of any, you know what I mean? They couldn't be paid better, like, at the moment. However, if that stock market price crashes and then people go, the farmer's getting paid fairly, it's like, well, no, but they were getting paid 10 times more than they have been for the last 6 years, but they've spent it or whatever. And it's like, well, can they be a sustainable? Because to me, to be at the mercy of a commodity price, a stock exchange fluctuation in the New York stock market, based on nothing's happened in Central South America, nothing happened in Venezuela to the cacao. There's not been any crisis there. They've got an abundance of cacao, but because there's something happened in Africa, it's a global price that it puts the price of that up. So the farmers are getting paid loads better in Venezuela now, but nothing's changed for anyone else. So it's like, why has the price gone up there? It doesn't make sense to me. However, like when the price drops, the farmers are going to get paid poorly. So it's like, how do we create an industry where it's like, what does a farmer get paid? What does a farmer deserve to be paid? Do you know what I mean? For this product. What's healthy for the farmer? What's healthy for the distributor? What's healthy for the end user? Yeah. Like, can we create something sustainable? It's like, right, okay, it's been $3 for 50 years and it's now gone up to $12 per kilo, or it's actually double that for what you buy it. But the commodity price, because there's all the processes and all the different people that go into it, because people will go, he's getting it for $12, he's selling it for $55. I'm not getting it for $12. That's just the commodity price. There's all these other prices that go onto it after that. And this is even just talking about this I was not interested in any of this stuff, but then you have to become interested in it and you have to learn a little bit about it. And you have to play the stock market now with cacao. It's like, oh, it's dropped, I better buy some, because you could save 50 grand. Do you know what I mean? If there's a drop, you can save 50 grand with the amounts that we're buying now. But you know, it went up 100 grand from Dragon's Den. It went up 100 grand. Like that's a house, man. I was sending a house worth of money to Venezuela. You're like, oh, I've never sent that much. I've never even owned a house. So it's like.
And the thing was, your prices were staying the same. So like, like recently, you put the prices up a little bit, but nowhere near equated to the price difference for what it actually went up in. Like when you were showing me the graph.
Madness,
it went sky high. Like
it's like this for 50 years. Goes just above $4 once, bum bum bum, and then it goes $12. You're like, how's that happened? And you're going, I'm buying now, and you're like, fuck. And then you're going, thank God I'm going direct, because actually it'd be triple that if I was going through the person that I used to go through. And you're like, thank God. But it's like, you know, navigating that, and actually, can we create something sustainable where this farmer, it's like, you're getting paid this. This is how you are going to form your life based on this amount of money, which you're happy with, which we're happy at paying that with, which is probably somewhere in between what the price was all those years and what the highest price went to. Can we get sustainable? But then you've got to create, I don't know how that works, but I know with Freddy, the guy from Sivan, we were looking at a longer term of the only way you can get that to have that is to buy a huge piece of land or incorporate some sort of what do you call it, like a co-op of farmers. And it's like, right, we're going to create a co-op of farmers, we're going to guarantee you this price for however long, however many years, but it go up with sort of like local inflation or something. I don't know, I'm not a politician, I'm not an economist. I'm just like, I look at something and go, that's not right, because the farmers are getting paid great at the moment. All the sort of, you know, left-wing woke people are like, oh, they're getting paid well, or probably still don't even know, because actually most people that comment on stuff, they have no idea. I was responsible for the price going up of cacao at that point. Apparently it's got nothing to do with me. Firstly, I'm buying from Venezuela. I'm buying 0.01% of Venezuela's stock of cacao annually. So imagine what that is globally, because Venezuela account for less than 5% of the world's cacao. I think it's less than 2% actually. So it's minuscule. So me being responsible for the price of cacao going up was like the most ridiculous comments you could ever say. Because on a global scale, I'm probably like responsible for buying 0.000000000. Probably do about a minute's worth of zeros, 1% of the world's cacao supply. And actually the cacao crisis was just because of Ivory Coast and Ghana, because of a crop failure, because of a blight within the crop, also because of fertilization issues, that they couldn't get fertilizer from Ukraine because most African cacao is not organic. So they use a lot of fertilizer in it. And it's a lesser species of cacao. It's
gone up recently again, hasn't it? Like
it's gone even higher. Even higher. But luckily we bought when it was at the highest ever, a historical high. That's when we bought the first time. Then we bought when it dropped again, and hopefully by the time it drops again, that's when we'll be ready to buy again. But but that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like there's so much that goes into your business. There's so many like variables. This like the fact that actually we wouldn't have had a business if we wouldn't have gone to Venezuela then. And I actually want to tell the story about, like you mentioned Freddy, like the guy from Sivan, but it was like we were international businessmen for like a couple of days, wasn't it? Because we'd flown from. We'd had all these meetings, and it was like bang, bang, bang in Venezuela, meeting all these people, going to all these different places, like, you know, staying in these farms, staying in the mountains, staying in these like nice hotels in Maracaibo, learning about Maracaibo, learning about the oil industry, learning about Chavez, the new regime, and how people all felt about it, and how things work in Venezuela. These cities that had 3 million people in that now have a population for 400,000. We were like, what's this ghost town, man? Like, what's going on? And learning about how it used to be super vibrant, how Venezuela should really be one of the richest countries in the world. And you're like, what? just mad things going on. All these meetings. We bounce back to Madrid. We go to San Sebastián. Oh no, did we go to Barcelona first?
We went. Oh no, we went. Yeah, we went to Barcelona.
Yeah,
first,
so we're in this meeting in Venezuela, and she was like, "Oh, it's a shame you can't meet Freddy. He's a bit of a rock star." And I'm like, I'm thinking a bit guy with long hair, like, you know, super hippie, but he's smashing business. And I'm just like, where is he? She was like, oh, he's in Barcelona. And we're like, he's in Barcelona. When's he going to be in Barcelona till? And she was like, he comes back on Friday. And we're like, well, we're going to be in Barcelona on Friday. We arrive on Friday. Can we meet him? She's like, yeah, let's see what we can do. So we kind of like bounce from Venezuela to Madrid, go to San Sebastián, get on a flight from San Sebastián to Barcelona. I think it's a bit delayed. We can't get our luggage, can we? So.
Well, no, my luggage exploded.
Oh,
it came taped up, didn't it?
Yeah, yes. They'd have to tape your luggage up. So then my mate's supposed to be picking us up. I was like, don't pick us up. We're getting in a cab. We get in a cab. We go straight to this fancy hotel to meet this Freddy guy. Go to the top floor. We just got loads of cases. Sit down. Meet my mate Xander and his missus who live in Barcelona. They sit in with the meeting. We're in this like big, really nice space. Freddy comes and sits down. And he's like an old guy, bald head, but just looks... It just looks cool. Expensive, doesn't it? He just looks, but classy.
Yeah.
Not like over, like blingy. Just looks like a classy guy. Like he's on it, and he looks like a bit of a. He just like.
He looks like a rock star. He does like, but not like a typical rock star. Just a cool dude,
like a Don, but like a good. He's just had a good heart. He had a good vibration. Started the meeting. Maya's interpreting, and the energy was just great. And you know, just wanting to work with him. I was like, I want to work with this guy. I trust him. I think he can get things done. There's not going to be any problems getting the cacao. Like, yeah. And then we went up onto that lobby, and then it was just mad because then we had to say, Freddy, we've got to go. We got another meeting. We had another meeting with another distributor in Barcelona. So we bounced out. They picked us up. We got in their car, went to that meeting, saw their facility, like did all that stuff, and it was just like, end of that, we were like. Fuck, that's been a mad week, man.
Oh, 100%. Well, it was
and then
like
they had a cacao ceremony the next morning on the beach in Barcelona.
Yeah, because it was Venezuela were nuts. Like, it was nice, you got to experience everything, but it was always going, like, seeing something. And then when we got to Madrid, we drove to San Sebastián, it was like, I can relax for like a day or two, slow down, gather us thoughts. And then when we got to Barcelona, it was just like chaos again, like straight one after the other. And then, like you say, we had the sunrise ceremony were beautiful, but then it was like as soon as that finished, right off to the airport now, flight back home sort of thing. It was a lot, but it was such an incredible experience to cram so much. I think it was there like 16, 18 days altogether. It was so much to unpack. When I got home, my missus was asking, I was like, it's going to take me a day to like unravel everything to you, man. But like you say, even when in Maracaibo, when we went out and you're driving around the town and there's all these beautiful buildings and you think it's going to be, you hear stories about Venezuela being so big and so like Caracas, I guess, everywhere. But it was hardly any people walking around and it's just beautiful buildings. But then you drive from one side to the other to Caracas and then that's where everyone is and it's like overpopulated. But even there,
Caracas, though, the population of Caracas has gone down, like dropped by millions over the last sort of 5 years.
And
people
such
just
a beautiful country as well. Like when you're looking at Caracas
man.
and it's like there's the mountains in the background and then you had the buildings and the sunset and you're like, oh, just unreal like experience.
But it was so clean, like cleanest. One of the cleanest countries that I've been to that you class as like a third world country. Yeah. Like, you know, all Asia, all Central South America. That's the cleanest country I've ever been to. I was just like, why? How is it so clean? Like, but there was constantly, wherever you go, there was like government workers like working, cleaning the streets. Like, it was just immaculate, wasn't it? Everywhere.
Yeah. When you look online and you always have a preconception of we're going in, it's not what I expected in the slightest, like at all. And like, it would be nice. I was going to say this, it would be nice for you and even Paulina to go over and instead of it being such like here, there and everywhere sort of like, and don't get me wrong,
holiday,
we did experience it and we got to see everything that we wanted to see. It was very educational and very like taking in things. It'd be nice for you to just have a minute to just, you know, sit with everything.
Go to Margarita, the island, the Caribbean island, which is just off Venezuela, but you can apparently get a boat from there, from Maracaibo. That's like where people go and holiday spot or something. So definitely next time we go over, and I'm sure like Freddy will have some things to go and show us. I want to go to Victoria. Is it Victoria? Angel Falls? Victoria Falls?
Angel Falls,
Angel Falls. and do a little bit more with the indigenous communities, and obviously see more farmers. But people are like, how many farms do you see? It's like a few, but it's like these 2,500 farmers. However, that area is so vast. Like you could take an hour and a half to get one farm to the next. Do you know what I mean? It's
100%.
like
When we were in the jungle and we were staying
huge,
there,
man.
it was ridiculous. There was just nothing. It was just driving for hours and hours, and
Yeah.
that was one other thing as well. Like they've got all the farmers, but then just at the side of the road, there'd just be cacao growing as you're driving along, and people like kids
everywhere.
We were saying kids would just like take them and suck on them like I guess as we would use chewing gum.
Yeah.
They would just suck on them as they went across. But yeah, I guess that's where the journey, I guess, for us started, and now we've filmed a lot. We've obviously started the podcast as well. So I guess move on to that. Like, how are you finding this? How are you finding the talking to everyone and
It's all right, isn't it?
and knowing stories? Yeah,
I think it's just like I think the first couple we did, I was like, I didn't really know what to do, and then I think obviously sometimes you're more switched on. It depends what's going on, how your energy is, but like it's a listening exercise really. Like it's like I'm knackered after it because you're just like you're super concentrating, you're super listening, you're super absorbing the person, and then sometimes if you're not like super switched on, you're like but you've got to be because otherwise it just like doesn't flow. But it's been amazing to have the conversations, like the people that we've had on, that you know the laughs. Like it's not it's just trying to remain positive, even when we've talked about like sort of taboo subjects or difficult traumas. It's like, right, but the episode as a whole is quite uplifting. It's very uplifting, it's educational, and it's also giving people, especially in our community, a voice. But then also it's giving people within our community access to other people that they've never heard about, like, you know, Catherine, and the amount of like people that have booked on to have a reading with her since then, Jess with the belief coding, people that have like tapped into the work that she's doing and been super inspired by it. Mandem Meetup, like giving, like, you know, it's advertising for them, but also just listen to this amazing man's beautiful story, like, and how like gorgeous he is, but he's like proper monk, proper street boy, but beautiful heart. And it's like for people maybe sort of more middle class that are around that to go, actually this kid's like almost like a proper gangster, but he's beautiful. Do you know what I mean? So it's like changing perceptions, making people more open-minded, but then also it being this this way of people to access their own full power, really. It's like what's going on with me. Hopefully it's inspiring people. Hopefully it's shaking people up a bit. Hopefully people are listening to an episode and going, I'm going to try that, I'm going to do that. Do you know what I mean? Even just Gary's episode, like 15-minute meetings, like there's been so much response to that. It's like, and I'm doing it, me and Adam are doing it. Like we're going, why is it booked in for an hour? We're going to talk for 15 minutes, ask each other. We've not got time for this shit. Like, let's get to the point. 15-minute, 30-minute meeting max. And like, it's never needed to be an hour. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Like all these, you look like when I'm asking guests, to, you know, if they want to come on, they're like, "Oh, who do you normally get on?" And it's like we want a range of people. Like we said, we want to delve into finance next. And I guess we want to obviously talk about cacao and yoga and, you know, our beliefs, but we also want to talk about theirs. And it's not you're wrong, I'm right. It's learning about each other, talking about each other, talking about like why your stories shape the way you have, and vice versa, like the opposite way. So I guess getting the varied people, and like you say, it's growing the community.
And our community, like, and our facilitators and the people that work for us, giving them a voice, and getting the people that are out there that follow us to see, you know, these nuts and bolts going on behind the scenes, like people that are doing super important things. It's like just to give them a space and to hear their story, hear about our relationship, hear about the amazing work that they do and the things that they've got going on outside of Full Power. Because pretty much everybody that works for us is doing something beautiful or is on a really amazing sort of healing journey.
Because one thing I've noticed straight away was how strong the community was and how like it's a scratch your back sort of situation, whereas like a lot of the things I've worked in before, it's more of a competition, like everyone's at loggerheads, and I've hated that because together we all grow. Everyone's strong in a certain area or subject, and I think in the community here, everyone sees that and appreciates that. So when you bring in these people in, like we had James on obviously last season, who is incredible at what he does, like with food and knowledge, and he was on the facilitator training, and then obviously this season now we're going to get Rayla on, who was on the last facilitator course where James cooked food for her, and it's like a cycle of like people coming through, which is so nice to see, because in some places it's like, or come to our course, and then that's it afterwards. And even to the WhatsApp groups, like obviously you put me into one because I came down to film it all, and everyone's still in there. Everyone shares their events, what they're doing, how each other can help each other out. And even like some are in Ireland and Scotland, like, and Newcastle, like they still work together in whatever way they can, or come down. Like Tove came round from Newcastle to the Manchester ceremony. I was like, it's so good to see. Like, it's not just right, you're on your own. It's brought into the community, and then
that's really important. Like, I want to keep growing that and keep like offering more and supporting more, and getting somebody like really focused on that, because I have so much to do. It's like I say, I'm like, I can't do everything that I want to do, and I can't give it the attention. But it's good that people kind of like almost they manage it between themselves, which is probably even more powerful. It's like they connect. You know, every training that we've done, man, like people have gone on to be amazing friends, or they've gone on to do events together. They're supporting each other. Like, they're known in the community. Like the Ignite, like James and the Ignite thing, and then like the guy we had on the podcast yesterday, Luke, and he knows. Been inspired by Julie and Alex, who've done the Kurt, and then we're inspired by. It's like it's just like all this inspiration, and Full Power Cacao being like obvious, almost like. And James talks about this a lot. He said everything comes from Full Power Cacao, really, like all the connections. And when you think about, I know this person, it's like, actually, I wouldn't have known that person if I hadn't gone to that event and I experienced that Full Power Cacao. But yeah, it's that's just the spirit of connection of Lady Cacao, of that heart opening expansion of unity consciousness, of 5D consciousness, of Christ consciousness, and like us building towards that. And that's how these tribes are gonna start being. And everyone, you know, supporting each other, which is good. Hi guys, my book Dealer to Healer is available on our website, www.fullpowercacao.com. You can also get it on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, wherever you read and do your thing. It is an amazing tale of my life and my journey towards a better version of myself. All the twists and turns, all the traumas, all the funny stories, everything that's happened. It's my life story. It's supporting and inspiring lots of people. So head over to the website, head over to Amazon, get the book, let us know what you think. Big love.
Yeah, 100%. I think it'll carry on as well, like as the years go on. Like, you can see like the strong, tight-knit community. So I guess we'll move on to now what 2025 has in store. Like, what's next on your agenda? Like, what have we got
10X.
coming up? 10x.
I want a 10x of business, and I want to get comfortable with, like, obviously, like, my abundance journey's been massive, from like only ever really dealing in thousands of pounds to then tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to now millions. And it's like, and people are like, he's a millionaire. It's like, apparently people are searching Liam Browne net worth. Search away, it's not a fucking lot at the moment. It takes a long time to create a net worth, because you have to do compound interest, you have to create assets, and that takes a while. But the Full Power Cacao, it's turnover, man. It's only turnover, it's not profit. But they're now realistic figures that you can talk about, that you're talking about because they exist.
Yeah.
Not like, I want to achieve that. But now it's like, well, what's the next figure? So the next one is like, what is it? Eight figures. So we've done 6 figures. We've done 7 figures. Like, what's 8 figures? How does that look like? How does that feel from a working class background?
And
How do I step into that energy?
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know, like, when you're making these figures, it doesn't mean like that's all profit. It means like quite a lot of it you're reinvesting back into the business to grow it even further and to get more on people.
If you're going to that, you have to employ more people. You have to give more people money, more people jobs. You're buying more cacao. That everything expands. Like, people think, oh, bang, they're focused on that. It's like, actually, I focus on that because if I get to that figure, everything else in our community expands, our events expand, the facilitator training expands, the quality of everything we do expands. And actually just get comfortable with the figures, because if it was 100 figures, brilliant. Like, why not? Anything's possible, and it just creates opportunity, creates more wealth, it inspires more people. But 2025, like, obviously, I set those targets of like 10x, because we have 10x every year, and it's like, how do I 10x again? And I want a 10x relaxation as well. Like, what a 10x, like having a bit more time, finding the people that are brilliant at the certain jobs that are not my part in the orchestra that I've just been doing, and for me to just within Full Power Cacao to sit as the director, the CEO, almost like the shepherd of like where we taking it with these amazing people that are now on board. How do we share the cacao ceremonies to more people, to vast amounts of people, to people all over the country, to put more cacao ceremonies on, to do more festivals again, but also now give more of the people that have trained with us an opportunity to go and do some of the festivals, to facilitate out things, to show what they can do, to maybe even do a facilitator cacao, Full Power Cacao ceremony that we support, but I'm not part of. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like a fucking The Voice on tour or something. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is. It's not Stars in Their Eyes. What are they called now? Is it called The Voice? What's the other one that was on? What's Simon Cowell's one?
What, X
the
Factor?
singing one. Yeah, X Factor, like X Factor on tour. A Full Power Cacao on tour, but just with the facilitators that we've trained. Something like that would be cool. But then obviously we've got the retreat in the Sahara Desert, which is a breathwork retreat, which is going to have yoga, breathwork, like self-help, self-development, cacao ceremonies, and that's with another company that are bringing us in to facilitate a lot within it. So we're going to the Sahara Desert, which is going to be awesome. We've got the cacao ceremony in North Manchester on the 13th of February, which is in Moston at FC United. So it's like a football ground. So it's like, that seems like another kind of energetic shift and movement into that world. And they're quite passionate about improving people's lives, getting people more connected, more realizing who they are, what they're capable of, especially in places like that where it's a lot of poverty there. Yeah. It's like, let's get out of this poverty mentality. Do you know what I mean? It's just a mentality. Mm-hmm. You know, everything's a mentality. Everything's a focus. Let's focus on, like, you know, I've had to come out of that. So I can teach people that, because I've come from that. I've come from poverty. I've come from my dad being like super poverty, my mum being in poverty. And only seeing that, not knowing any rich people, not having any rich examples of human beings other than unrealistic things that are on the TV, that are in film. So it's not tangible because you can't touch it, you can't see it, you've not seen it, you've not experienced it. So to see more people doing well, and, you know, to have more people on the podcast about abundance, about finance, about this money being a recipe, and money being a reward for service. And people don't understand that. If somebody's making a lot of money, they've given a lot of service. Mm-hmm. And whether you agree with what they're doing or not, they would have given. Like even Jeff Bezos, if you look at his early interviews, what he's trying to do with Amazon, he's like, the customer is the most important thing. The customer is the most important thing. And with Amazon, whether you agree with what they do or not, like the customer is getting the most slickest experience out of any other business on the planet. That's why they've smashed it, man.
100%.
Like, that's why people are smashing it, because they've got a service that resonates with a large amount of people. So actually, the large amount of people do like it. Mm-hmm. So if you're bitching about it and it makes your life easier, man, I fucking love it. I'm like, oh, I need that thing. Oh, I've got to wait till I go into the town, which is like, you know, a day out for me. Oh no, do you know what? But people go, but you don't buy local. I'll tell you what, when I go local, I bet you I spend more money locally than anyone else. However, I don't want to go and go, I forgot. I just want to go locally and go, I like that. Not, I need this. Oh, I got home and I forgot a certain size screw that I need. You know what I mean? Where I could have just gone on my phone, and actually you forget if you don't make a note of it. Whereas now you get your phone, bang, put it in my cart. Right, sweet, it's there. Fuck, I won't forget that.
And for certain things, it's even harder to get it in town. Like the local places don't do them anymore. Like for us with camera gear, like there's so many times where I'm like, I need a hard drive tomorrow, and I could walk down to like a Wex or, you know, a Curry's or something like that. They might not have it, but they might not have it. And like with Amazon, I can just order it, and sometimes it's there the same day at 10 p.m. And I'm like, for the efficiency of that, it's ridiculous. And you know, sometimes you have just got to go along with some of these norms. And like you say with Amazon and Jeff Bezos, but like even looking at some of the other like big corporations like Airbnb, Uber, amazing, all these places, and they have they ain't got any cars, Uber, but they're still they've got a great service. DoorDash, they don't have an actual restaurant or a takeaway, but they have a great service to supply other people. Like these are the big people, I guess, that think outside the box, and I guess that's what you're doing with opening doors with Full Power Cacao. And it's not just a brand, it's you. It's a community, it's the ceremonies, it's you know, breath work, it's sound baths, there's so much incorporated in it. And I think the cacao is like the gateway in to the community, and then everyone can then explore and go on whatever journey they want to go on if they want to experience it. And even if they don't and they just enjoy the cacao, that's like enough, isn't it? Like that's what they enjoy. And I guess you touched on this right early in the podcast, but about making the cacao and really early, like how you make cacao, like because a lot of people, I guess, people like sugar in the cups of tea, people like sugar in the cups of coffee, and I think that's a gateway to people to get to like coffee or even tea, because sweetness, sugar, it's everywhere, isn't it? Whereas with cacao, there's a different taste to it raw than with agave or with cinnamon. So like, what would be a gateway, like I guess, recipe for anyone listening right now who's never had cacao before?
Salted caramel, agave, a little bit of coconut sugar, pinch of Himalayan salt or pinch of Calic sea salt, oat milk, plenish, without any nasty shit in it. That's the winner. Like, I tell my students, please don't make it any other way if you are serving it to the public, because I've been doing this for 12, 13 years. That's the winner. Like 99.9% of people, that is the preferred flavour. Then if I was to give them 10 flavours, most people would like that. Or it would, it's palatable for the most amount of people.
Yeah.
And actually, it gets more people into cacao. Like I said before, if you're serving it and it's like bitter, it's not good. But people are like, you've got to serve it bitter. It's got to just be with water. It's got to be super thick. And it's like, fucking Keith's the cacao shaman. He's like the guru of cacao, like the head honcho of cacao. When you went to his thing, there was a tray of condiments, there was panela, there was different types of sugar, not refined sugars, but natural sugars. And he's like, sweeten it as much as you want, as long as you're getting the cacao in. Bit of chili gets it in your bloodstream quicker, almost like coming up a bit quicker off a pill or whatever. You come up quicker off it with the chili because it allows the cacao to penetrate into the bloodstream quicker. So this is the cacao shaman with sugar, with condiments. As long as you're getting the cacao in your body, and however you enjoy getting it in there, he's like, make it as pleasurable as you want. If you like it bitter, that's pleasurable. Just drink it as it is. If you don't, and it's too much, but taste it, have a sip. And he didn't make his taste nice. It was like bitty. It was, mine's been a transition from like, how do I want people to experience this? And also with Keith giving me that mission, while saying that within his ceremonies, which just always just banged back in my head, cacao's going to take over from coffee by 2032. So then when I've started, I'm like, right, how's this going to happen? Because some of the cacao ceremonies I'm going to, and the way they're serving the cacao, nobody's going to buy cacao after that. They're just experiencing it in that moment. They're like, I went to a cacao ceremony. It was all right. I had the cacao. That wasn't very nice, but I felt a little something. I felt happy. I felt joyful. They're not going to go and buy it afterwards. They're not going to make it a daily part of their life and replace their coffee with it, yeah? So I was like, just playing with it, going to chocolate shops. What's the most popular thing? Salted caramel. Knowing that my favourite was salted caramel. I loved going to hot chocolate places, having a salted caramel. So I was like, right, well, how do I do that with the cacao? How do I just make this? And also in my ceremonies, we're getting bigger. I didn't want to have the condiments, and then people are putting too much chili in. Someone's put too much sugar in. Like, there's all this fucking like craziness going on. It's like, this is how we make it. This is Full Power's way. This is Liam's way. And people want to do something different. And I assure you, they're not going to sell as much cacao. They're not going to get as many people into cacao. So salted caramel all the way. And then experiment. You can add lemon to that salted caramel. You can add orange to that salted caramel. If you just know you like it bitter, just make it as it is. But if you are facilitating space, you're holding space for cacao ceremonies, like, make it have that bit of sweetness. And I've also had this battle with myself of going like, should I be making it sweet? And then also with the money, it's like, should I be like talking? Because obviously only the last 2 years I'm focusing on money within the spiritual community because it's a taboo subject. Do you know what I mean? And like, I've talked about yoga, talked about mantras, talked about consciousness, I've talked about self-development, and I've been talking about money for the last couple of years because I think it's important, because it's just an energy, and it's something that I've really sort of like gone on a journey with, and I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm in a good place, and I'm a lot better off than when I was in Manchester, like living in a council house and like working for 60 quid, 80 quid a day, painting, decorating. Even though I was probably a little bit less stressed, but I was like, how am I going to afford this? Or do you know what I mean? Or worrying about bills, and now it's like that don't even come into my equation. But it's like that journey with that. And when I was like having this kind of like hearing things and people saying stuff, and I'm like, what does God want me to be? And it's like, I always remember the book, The Science of Getting Rich. It's like, God wants you to be wealthy. The most important mission you've got is to be abundant in this world, because that creates the most good examples and allows you to have the possibilities to ascend as a spiritual being and achieve your life purpose. Having money will accelerate that and accelerate your journey on being the best version of yourself. Yeah. It just makes things easier. It's like, I'm in a bad place. I want to have some therapy, but I've got no money. Okay, go on the waiting list at the NHS. You might get, I'm suicidal. Yeah, you're on a 9-month waiting list. No, but I'm really suicidal. I might kill. It's a 9-month waiting list. If you've got money, what do? Just ring some fucker up in the book. Go, can I book in with you tomorrow? I'm suicidal. How much is it? It's £90 an hour. Sweet, I'm on my way. Bang. Probably won't even ask. If you're really rich, you don't even ask how much it is. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, opportunities allows you to drive on your spiritual path a lot quicker. Anybody who's still going, this guy's a dickhead, the money, read The Science of Getting Rich. Spiritual people especially, read The Science of Getting Rich. Like it was the book that just changed my whole mindset, got rid of all my like, if I'm spiritual, I can't be rich. If I'm spiritual, I've got to struggle a little bit. Do you know what I mean? If I'm spiritual, I can't charge this for that. I've got to make it just affordable. Do you know what I mean? And it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. But it's all, again, programming, lower level programming, poverty consciousness that we have to eradicate. And then when I was going through the dilemma with the sweetness and with the money, I looked up at Ganesha, like a picture of Ganesha, and I looked up at a picture of Lakshmi, and Ganesha's covered in sweets. He's got sweets everywhere. He's got food everywhere. It's like all sweet treats. And I remember all the gods, when you go to the temples, the people are giving sweets as offerings. When you go to like the Tibetan temples, like the monks, the Buddhists, is all sweets. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm looking at Lakshmi, and she's got a pot of gold, and she's throwing money out like that. I'm like, these are like all these spiritual people have got these pictures on the wall. Like, it's fucking right there. And I was like, it's right there. I'm like, it's okay. Fuck them, whatever they say, doesn't matter. But I had that dilemma of like, I really wanted to like, is this, am I? And he's like, Ganesha was like, bling, motherfucker, bling. And I was like, go and get some nice earrings. Go spend some money on jewelry. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
And then people, you spent loads of money on jewelry. Yeah, but that person made money from me spending that money on the jewellery, and he's going to go and spend some money in some other shops, and he might buy something off you that you're trying to sell. Do you know what I mean?
It's all a circle,
so go fuck yourself.
I guess, yeah. No, 100%. You are right, though, and like, obviously with the progression of Full Power, you've brought up the branding as well, like the golds come out and everything, and like that's the obviously abundance coming out as well in Tikiara. And if you was to use their argument in everything, no one would have anything, because no matter where you put money, like as long as there's not obviously bad things happening and advantage being taken off people.
Yeah.
Like,
as long as I'm not like investing in like arms dealers and shit like that, then
exactly. I think you're all right, really. I think we'll wrap it up because we've had an hour and 20, I think, around about. It's been a really good conversation. Covered your past year, what's coming up next year.
Are you going to steal my job?
No, I don't like this, man. I really don't. Get me back behind that camera, man. Like,
people like, there's going to be all these comments, get Sexy Nick back on.
No.
Get Sexy Nick, interview Sexy Nick.
Not a chance. Like, this is...
Get him showing us how to eat a kebab, a Yorkshire kebab. It's just gravy, Yorkshire puddings.
We were talking about this earlier, we're doing Yorkshire Cacao.
Yorkshire Cacao. Yorkshire tea's gone into the cacao world.
Like I've said, when I came into Full Power, I said to you, I'm creating all these really nice videos that are clean and everything. And, they're getting the views, they're getting the retention, what they need. But you post a video of you talking to your son on your phone in the lowest quality ever, and everyone fucking loves it. And I was like, oh, this is great. But you do need both. But your community, like you, are invested in you, like what you say, like what you're about, and your whole journey. So I think the more we can get your story out to them, the more people that are going to listen to it. New people are going to come in, and people who are already in the community are going to learn a bit more about you. So where and how did you learn the chants and mantras and in another language? So I guess the ones from India.
And how? So I learned, I guess it's two answers to this. I learned quite a few when I was on my yoga training, but people are like, yeah, but you learn them, and then how did you retain them? And it's like, fuck knows, they just stick stuck in there. I'm not sure if it's like because I used to learn lines in acting or I was in a band or whatever, and I don't know the language. I only know like the songs, and but then P will be like, but you've just learnt that mantra that we've both got, like bang. So it's like I guess it's like when I was learning yoga poses and stuff, I'd just like think about them, but I'm not an academic. So it's like I just have to do it. So I'll learn from like, I'll play it and I'll just keep playing it. And then I'm like thinking about it. Oh, that's the next line. I'm just trying to get it in my head, or like the mantra that I've got at the moment, like my favourite one, Rityam Jaya Yurudraya Nila Kamta Yashambhave Amratesha Yashavaya Mahadeva Yate Namaha. And that was like, I met these Indian guys in this little temple, and they were like Sanskrit mantra students, and they were just singing mantras like bum 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 bum. And I was like, what's that one? And they were like telling me it's about Shiva and saving the world and sucking in the poison of the universe, and like he was the only person that could save the universe because they called Vishnu in and Vishnu couldn't do it. And Vishnu was like, we need to get Shiva in, and Shiva come in, and the mantra's all about that. It's like transformation. It's about ridding all your toxins, getting rid of all your bullshit, and like just keeping the universe in flow and in beauty, and rid of all. And I guess that's what's going on in the world at the moment, actually. There's this, but everything's coming out, everything's being realised, all the darkness is coming to the surface to be transmuted, and people are like, it's really bad. It's like, no, it was really bad when nobody knew about it and it was underground. Like now we know about it, it will transmute itself. So that's that Shiva mantra. But yeah, it was them guys, and I was trying to learn it and trying to remember that, because they said it, very Indian accent. And then Antama helped me learn that one because he kind of broke it down a little bit for me. And then it was just about repetition. So yeah, repetition, but then also like, is this guru called Lahiri Mahashaya, and Paulina was like, you was his son in a past life. So if I was his son in a past life, I probably know all the mantras, man. So it's just remembering because your consciousness as a soul knows all your past lifetimes and all your learnings. So it's like, I guess just in a way, I'm just remembering ones that I already know. Because people are like, yeah, but you sing them in like an Indian accent. I'm like, oh, fucking, I don't know. I'm just singing them, and that's how they come out. So, yeah. But with anybody who wants to remember stuff, just repetition. Just focus on it. Handstand, focus on doing a handstand. Shiva Shambho, focus on Shiva Shambho. Learning the harmonium, focus on learning the harmonium. Like, I can't play instruments, but I play the harmonium. People are like, what's that note? And I'm like, I have no idea. But I know when I get to there, I have to change. When that feels, I change then, and I change then. It's just like, I've got a bit of rhythm and I've got a bit of timing, but I haven't got the intellectual kind of, I would never, ever, ever, ever say I'm a musician. I just play an instrument and sing.
But everyone loves it, so if it works, it works. Man.
That's what I mean. These other people who are fucking the most technical, amazing musicians who would probably not get anybody going to the gigs. And I'm absolutely terrible and fill a room with fucking hundreds of people and they're all singing back to me and having a fucking brilliant time.
No, 100%. Like I say, when we went to that first ever one, and I'm stood on stage just looking out and everyone's singing back to you, I was like, fucking hell, it's mental. Like, it's to see people's perception and like the energy you bring to the room, and
magic and mantras, man. Like mantras and kirtan and like that singing. And I remember like when I was on a teacher training in India in Dharamshala, and the guy was like telling us about mantra, and it was like he's like, it said about the meaning of it, and then he was like, it's like a secret passcode to universal consciousness, or the consciousness of that mantra and the vibration of that mantra. It's a secret password. I was like, and I said to him, like cheating on a fruit machine. And he went, what is this? I went, like a fruit machine, you'd like put a magnet down the side, or you could get a special code on the keys. He was like, I don't know.
No idea.
He'd never played fruit machines. I was like, you've never been in a pub and played fruit machine on a Friday night and put all your wages in it? He's like, I am Yogi.
Made the right choice not doing it, I tell you that.
Definitely.
Fruit machines, man, they're a bottomless pit of joy. I still love fruit machines though.
When the lights are shining, I'm walking past, I was like, I want to play fruit machine.
It's shiny objects, isn't it? And like, looks nice.
I know.
Makes your pockets lighter.
I have no idea how to play them.
No.
They might as well just take
especially the
money.
ones nowadays as well. Like it used to be like just 3 little things. Now you've got to play games, get bonuses, all this and that.
And it's like £2 a spin or something.
Yeah, just
you're
pressing
like,
buttons. Like one of it.
It's
will
like
work,
5p a spin when I was a kid. Like I just like playing them, man. I probably like to have a fruit machine in my house that I can just understand it and play, because I'd be like, I don't know what to do.
Just Yeah. And
Someone's like, it's gone red. Just keep going. You've got the jackpot. And then I've lost everything.
Instead of
I'm like,
putting money
he
in.
said it's gone red.
instead of putting money in, you could put chocolate coins in or something
Exactly,
instead.
yeah.
Like have your own currency in there.
Deal or no deal. Learn deal or no deal fruit machine. Can't believe we're finishing on fruit machine.
Yeah, a tangent in it. Right, but yeah, I guess.
Nice one.
Yeah, thanks for letting me interview you for a change, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can do it again soon. Hopefully these lot enjoyed hearing about you.
Yeah, man, that's the longest I've ever seen you without eating a kebab.
I don't actually eat kebabs, guys.
He doesn't eat kebabs, actually.
No.
I've actually never seen him eat a kebab.
No.
He eats a lot of Yorkshire puddings, though, and Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire puddings, gravy,
Yeah,
and tea.
yeah. And he's constantly reading Yorkshire Post.
You even said it in a Yorkshire voice then. Yorkshire Post.
Emmerdale. He's got Emmerdale on repeat all day.
Yeah, me and James just sit together.
Yeah, he's got his ringtones.
Oh,
When he was in Venezuela, people were like, what is that? It's like, it's just so he feels at home.
Innit? They had no idea what I was saying, man. They didn't understand my accents too much.
You and Lewis doing the Google Translate was cute. You probably loved doing Google Translate with each other.
I know. It was nice because like technology actually brought us together, but at the same time I was like, I wish I could speak to him, but like we just like type on a phone, show, he just laughs and then he hands it back. I laugh and then it was like an hour of that. Like we could have said it in 10 minutes if we spoke each other's language, but yeah, here's where it is.
Nice one, mate.
Right.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Let's get some food.
And love. Yeah, man. Nice
Take
one.
it easy.